decades, Nancy Pearl has supported, reviewed, and interviewed an array of authors as one of the country's most well-known librarians and a frequent NPR commentator. In her debut novel, George and Lizzie, Nancy tries her own hand at writing fiction in a story of love, marriage, and life's imperfect turns. It's a treat to have her back on New Day, so please welcome Nancy Pearl. How you doing?
Fine.
So you've written nonfiction books before, but this was your first try at the storytelling side of this.
Yes, and I have to say I didn't begin thinking it was a novel at all. One night when I was trying to fall asleep and couldn't, as we all have those things, these two characters came into my head, and one was named George and the other was named Lizzie.
What do you mean they came into your head?
They just were there. I saw them. It's so weird. It's like I just, there they were. And I saw them at a bowling alley in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I saw that was
as we all do when we can't sleep. This happens.
Right. And I hadn't been in a bowling alley for, I don't know, 45 years. And yet there I was in that bowling alley with them. And for the next, 3 or 4 years, I just, in my head, followed them, learned more and more about their lives and their relationship and how different they were from one another. And yet they get married, and you have to balance all these things. And then finally I started writing it down. It was all in my head, and so by the time writing it down, putting it on the computer, and by the time it got to that point, it was like I was just debriefing myself, and then the hard part began, because up to then it had been so much fun thinking about
just to explore. Other writers have said this to me, and I'm sure they've said this to you, that these characters have taken up residence in my mind, and I write the story that they tell me.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's ever happened to me. So did you expect that would ever happen to you?
No, I never, I never expected that I would write a novel. I'm 72. That seems like a weird...
5. That's such an inspiring thing,
I know.
right?
It seems like I mean, my husband said, I thought you'd retired. And I said, well, no, I think I have one more act at least.
One more thing. Tell us about Lizzie, because she's a frustrating character in parts of the book.
She is. Lizzie is a very unhappy child who grows up to be a not happy adult. Her parents are extremely difficult. It's not a happy family to be in. I have to say, Margaret, this is not autobiographical.
Okay, so
yes,
we've got that established.
Know that.
You seem very happy to me.
Yes, well, and I share much with Lizzie on a superficial level. We both love poetry, we both love books, we both love football. There's a lot of football in this book. But we didn't have the same
There is a lot of football in some ways that I'll just let you discover on your own.
We didn't have the same childhood. And Lizzie's parents are behavioral psychologists who treat her more as a subject than as a child to love. And everything she does is just kind of grist for their writing up a paper kind of mill. And they're really cruel to her in their own way. And I think when you grow up with that much self-doubt, I mean, they didn't love her, and to grow up unloved, I think, is very hard. And so when Lizzie meets George, who loves her, and
she's loved by several people, no matter how unlovable she feels.
Yes.
There are an array of people in this book who love her.
Yes, and George especially. I mean, he's a dentist who becomes a motivational speaker because he believes that everything is an opportunity for growth, and Lizzie is his opportunity to make her happy.
Lordy, that's a lifelong job, isn't it?
Especially for George.
Yes,
because
for George it really was. So when you got done with this book, did you feel like there was something that you had to say that came out through this story?
No, I don't think so. More it was just finding out from George and Lizzie where they would end up, or at least where the book should end up, because I think the ending leaves some questions still unanswered, although it's a happy ending. I know it's a happy ending.
I thought so too. I wasn't sure that's what she was going to do, but there was, I felt satisfied when I got to the end. Okay, now that I've invested in these two, I think they're going to be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But it invites a lot of questions, right, about yourself, about your own relationships as you read a book like this.
I think so, and I think what I would really love readers to get out of this is to feel that they've made some new friends, that George and Lizzie and Marla, who's Lizzie's best friend, and Marla's husband James, have all become people that are part of their lives. And I mean, I love it with a book when I close the last page and I want to think about and imagine what would happen to them next.
That I miss them.
That I
when
miss
they're gone.
them. Right. I want them in my life somehow.
Well, could there be a sequel to George and Lizzie?
Well,
there are these book series.
I know. I know. You know, sometimes what I think I would love to do is explore some of the minor characters. Maverick, who is Lizzie's boyfriend when she's a junior in high school.
That would be interesting.
And the book is all the characters were born around the end of the 60s. So just about in the present, in 2017, they'd all be approaching age 50. And that, I think, would be very interesting to see what's happened to them.
You do such good interviews with authors. Are you going to interview yourself for this book? Because I can see that happening.
Well,
there are ways.
Yes. Well, what I'd love to do is wear something that I could put a scarf around as me, and then ask me a question, and then run to that chair and answer that question, unwind the scarf, and then go back and forth.
I'd watch that show. Nancy, thank you so much. Nancy is doing a discussion and a book signing tonight at 7 at the Seattle Public Library Central Branch. The event is free and open to the public. We'll have more info on our website. And for our studio audience today, everybody's going home with a copy of George and Lizzie, so please enjoy. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, after a quick break, a preview and tasting from this year's Northwest Tequila Fest.